More and more people are cycling to work. In fact, bike sales are now outstripping car sales. That's good news. The bad news is that each year there are hundreds of accidents involving cyclists, and most involve a collision between a bike and a car.
Some time ago, my son was injured in a bad bike accident. He was trying to make a right-hand turn at night, and the driver of the car behind him simply didn't see him. Being a keen inventor myself, the accident gave me the inspiration to find a way that would make the rider more visible when he turns. The SafeTurn indicator is attached to a wristband or a bicycle glove. It switches on automatically when the rider lifts an arm to indicate a left or right-hand turn. The secret to it is a unique internal tilt switch inside the light. With the SafeTurn indicator on your wrist, riding at night, bound to take a turn for the better.
Please welcome from Melbourne, Thomas Beck. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Jim.
No one would believe it if I told them that you're 81.
Oh.
You don't look 81 at all.
Well, I sometimes feel it.
Well, if you only sometimes feel it, how do you stay so young looking?
Well, I do some exercise every morning.
Oh,
yeah.
very good. Now, so I'm just putting these on.
Yes.
And they're very unobtrusive, which is a good thing.
Yes.
And then how do you turn them on?
You just press on the top.
You just press?
Yep.
OK. And if you're riding your bike, the idea is that whenever you lift your... Look at that! It goes on. And then when you put your hand back down, a second later it stops.
That's right.
And that's because of that tilt switch that every time your arm goes 90 degrees...
Correct.
It goes on.
That's right.
Well, isn't that clever? Was that hard to... I'll just put on a helmet because I'll test them on the road. Was that hard to think of?
It's fairly hard. It's got much more complex mechanism inside than it looks like.
Yeah, right. Well, don't think I'm rude, but I'm off.
OK,
Give
bye.
them a bit of a test. So you're riding along and it's getting dark already. Then when you put your arm out...
Yes.
Is it on?
Yes.
And then a little bit later it goes off. Isn't that fantastic? It's very visible, which is really, you know, what you want, obviously.
That's right.
Well done. How much will it cost?
We're trying to keep it around the $20 mark.
Yeah.
And of course, in quantities, it will go further down.
Right.
Once we are in...
That's pretty reasonable,
Yes,
isn't it?
it's reasonable.
$20 a pair. Come over and sit down. $20 a pair?
No, $20 each.
$20 each, right.
Yeah.
And then to turn it off, you just simply...
Just press on top of the...
There you go. What do you think, Alison?
Do you have to keep your arm up the whole time, which could be a bit dangerous if you have to suddenly apply the brakes?
Well, normally, yeah, well, no, you don't have to keep it all the time, because once you made the turn or you in the turn, you can put it back.
Yeah, you've already indicated.
Already indicated,
yeah.
and the cars have seen you.
Thomas, how long are the batteries going to last on it?
It's calculated that it will last about 200 hours. If you indicate 10 times a day,
right,
it will last you for a hell of a long time.
Thomas, how wide is the visibility range of the light, and is it going to be visible to oncoming traffic?
The oncoming traffic will only see it when you put your hand back.
You mean behind you?
And even on the side, you know, if you're turning around.
Yeah, well, the visibility would be definitely over a couple of 100 meters. If you're that far from a car, you're in no danger anyway.
Pretty good. Summing up, Alison?
Well, I think that you could actually have it double-sided so that it's really super safe for that oncoming traffic, because what I love about this is that you're bringing the hand signal back, so even during the day, people can see the hand signal, so just so that it doesn't create confusion with other drivers.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should think about that.
You can have that for free, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas. Mark?
Thank you.
Thomas, you've invented the kind of hand signal that a bicyclist wants to give a motorist when they're caught up in traffic.
That's correct.
James?
I like that it actually promotes the use of hand signalling.
Yeah.
And I think that one day you may even find it be mandatory for all night riding. Good luck.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
very
coming in,
much.
Thomas. Please thank Thomas Beck. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I moved to Sydney about 5 years ago and started surfing, and I didn't have a car back then, so I had a big beginner's board on public transport, and that was the first time the idea came to me, is when it was clanging around on the bus. I thought it would be a good idea just to have something that could pack down into a smaller size. Good design is, I think, a design that fulfills the purpose that it was set out to do.
So tonight's winner will be in the running to be named our Inventor of the Year. Will it be the car-protecting, thief-spraying DNA car guard, the way to make cyclists visible at night, the SafeTurn indicator, or the grey water monitoring and using grass? James, let's look first at originality. Which is the most original?
Well, I think tonight, James, I'd have to give originality to the DNA car guard, because I can't think of anything else that actually targets the thief directly. So I think that's...
Well, aren't there? There are similar products out there.
Well, I mean, you can have a bag of dye that blows up when a thief robs a bank. It's the same thing. They've just taken it another level. They're just using an identification system, which is unique. But, I mean, they've had this exploding bag of dye for a long time. It's a commonly used technique for protecting things against theft.
So
I have to give originality to the SafeTurn indicator because of its unique mounting, the way its orientation and its sensitivity.
Well,
hasn't been done before.
It does move the light up higher than it would if it was actually on the bike as well.
Yeah.
But it's also just this idea that it really becomes now a physical gesture to control the light, that's not abnormal. You don't have to go and fumble with a button or something.
Yeah, and that's useful during the day and at night.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I think GRASS is actually a really well-designed system in the sense that they've actually taken all of the separate elements that someone has to worry about when they're managing a grey water, rainwater system, and they've integrated it into a package where, if it's installed correctly, and I would think actually their biggest market for this is going to be talking to people who are building houses, so they can make sure all the piping is in place and everything is very easy and actually less expensive to install. And if you can do that, then it really is a system that you never have to think about.
I'd give it to GRASS for design as well tonight, because it does seem that they've thought of a lot of different parts, and the system seems quite modular. It seems like you can add new parts to it reasonably
That's true too,
easy.
but I would also include the software as part of the design, and I mean, I don't know if it's just me, guys, but I found it pretty confusing to read, so if that could be simplified,
yeah,
I think
in terms of the user
better.
interface design, I think there is some other work to do to ensure that people don't get intimidated by the number of options that are there.
Although you have to admit, with the SafeTurn indicator, I mean, how many bicyclists are there in the world?
True.
And every one of them needs two of them.
Yeah, and that market is growing as we know.
All right then, well, who is going to win tonight? James, you first.
Oh, this is a tough one, because I do like I like the GRASS, and I like the the different modular parts of that, but the design is quite complex. So I'm going to give it to one that's slightly simpler. I'm going to give it to the SafeTurn indicator, because I think the need in that is huge as well.
Okay. Either of you disagree?
I'm not disagreeing at all. I think we need safe riding. I think it's going to be a growing market, and it's just going to be needed more and more.
It's unanimous.
Yeah.
There you go. Thomas Beck is our winner with his SafeTurn indicator. Well done, congratulations. Well done. This is for you. Thomas is in the running to be named our Inventor of the Year. Well, if you would like to have your say, then you can vote in the New Inventors People's Choice Award. Pick your favourite from tonight. Text 1 for the DNA car guard, 2 for the SafeTurn indicator, or 3 for GRASS to 199 222 call 1902 552277, or go to our website abc.net.au/New Inventors. Thanks to our judges. Well done. And a big round of applause for all the inventors tonight. The quote tonight from Canadian author Brian Tracy, who said, "There is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing." Good night.